Swords were a pipe dream for this kid. Stuck as a lowly support, he was an outcast in a world obsessed with mana. Kim Ho's life flipped when he suddenly materialized right in the crossfire of two clashing dragons. Clinging to life after the escape, he felt a surge within. His pathetic support class evolved into the legendary X class. Surpassing even S rank, this god-tier class lets him mimic any skill. And just like that, Kim Ho siphoned the dragon's own might. Now a prodigy at Dragonslayer Academy, he's absolutely crushing every mage who depends on basic mana. The screen flashes the academy's name and roster. To move forward, players grind against monsters on the front lines. As a hardcore veteran, he climbed to top-tier support status. Dozens of beasts swarm from a portal while a titan strikes from the sky. Witnessing the incoming wave, the squad readies for war. Suddenly, a lead monster pounces jaws wide and hungry for blood. Liseo, our heroine, steps up to unleash a devastating strike against the monster horde. She connects a massive hit, launching the beast skyward. Right then, Hong Yuna hoists her scepter to weave her spells. Up front, a knight squares off against a colossal serpent, readying his blade. Zero hesitation, he drives his steel deep into the titan's skull. With the serpent slain, Go Johan sticks the landing. Victory secured, the team regroups amidst the ruins of the arena. Examining his loot, he claims the prize and summons Carmilla, clutching a glowing magic stone. Ready to buff his ally, he holds out the stone, urging her to accept the evolution catalyst. Taking the artifact, she clenches it to her heart, drinking in its raw energy. Immediately, Carmilla ascends to her S-rank vampire queen form. Real-world reality hits as he stretches in his gaming chair. Drained, he yanks off his headset, muttering that he's officially cleared everything. Staring at the screen, he thinks about leveling some low-tier alts. Boom, a mystery notification grabs his gaze. Reading the alert, he finds a secret quest earned through his feats. The details leave him floored. This mission is X-rank difficulty. He finally gets it, there are higher realms of power out there. Without missing a beat, he locks in and clicks accept. A flash confirms it, the mission is officially underway. His world blurs, replaced by the azure sky of a dense forest. He's been pulled into the game, reincarnated for this final quest. Scanning the trees, he realizes he's back in the tutorial zone. Checking his stats, he's totally broke, no skills, no gear. Suddenly, a window pops up, bestowing a few reincarnation perks. Moments later, the survival tutorial kicks off 10 minutes on the clock. Recalling this stage, he figures it's just dodging trash mobs. But a thunderous roar shatters the peace. Looking up, two massive dragons are tearing into each other with savage fury. Stumbling back, he's rattled two endgame bosses in the tutorial. He books it, sprinting to escape the kill zone. A dragon's blast incinerates the woods behind him. He skids to a halt, realizing this is his shot. To trigger copy, he must witness the precise moment of activation. Plus, he needs their exact name and rank. Below, the dragon's fury erupts in a massive fireball. Everything turns to ash. Locked in, he watches the dragon's power burn into his very soul. Success. He snags the elemental resistance and grins. Checking his stats, he's hyped for this S-rank trait. The wind shifts, putting him on high alert. Right there, the red dragon charges a supernova of fire in its maw. Simultaneously, the blue dragon readies a lethal frost breath. Watching them charge up, he knows they're dropping their ultimate moves. Sensing the peril, he hightails it out of the blast radius. The red dragon exhales a colossal wave of fire. Instantly, the blue dragon retaliates with a surging bolt of lightning. He's running for his life, as the shockwave nips at his heels. Finally, the screen confirms Tutorial 1 is cleared. Cut to a station, a guy approaches a girl, sitting alone in a train car. Claiming the train is packed, he asks to join her. No response. He wonders if she's just zonked out. Our hero appears at the door eyeing a spot. The guy turns, saying there's space, but she's out cold. Suddenly, she snaps awake, lifting her head to stare at the two guys. Kim Ho gestures toward the vacant seat, asking to join her. She nods, and he takes a seat, introducing himself. "Co Ye In," she replies softly. Kim Ho then beckons the other guy over, who offers a grateful nod and shares his name. The boy bows deeply, swearing to repay the kindness. But Kim Ho's eyes narrow as he asks what took him so long. Dragons, the boy admits, totally starstruck. Kim Ho tenses as the train jolts forward, reminding him that this world is anything but safe. Their trek to the academy kicks off. Staring at the passing landscape, a chill hits Kim Ho. The scenery is familiar, yet eerily distorted. He memorizes his new allies, Go Hyun-woo and So Ye-in. Quietly, he scans the rest of the cabin, gauging the vibes. Not a single face, student or staff rings a bell. That's when the cold reality finally sinks in. He's got to stay sharp for whatever comes next. Suddenly, he feels a heavy gaze. Ye-in is drilling holes into his head. Her eyes are a cheat code, she can quantify everything. She starts by dissecting Hyun-woo's status window, like a pro. Hyun-woo's stats are mid at best. But when she scans Kim Ho, nothing but a screen full of glitchy question marks. He's a total anomaly. Is there a problem? Kim Ho asks, catching her staring. Suddenly, an old piece of advice flashes through her mind. Be nice to the interesting ones. Taking the hint, she grabs her bag with a newfound sense of purpose. She digs out a fresh pack of chocolate cookies and offers them to him. A peace offering, perhaps. Want one? She asks bluntly. Kim Ho takes one a bit confused. Wait, did you bake these yourself? She nods, deadpan as ever. They don't suck, she says, which is basically a 5-star review coming from her. Between bites, Kim Ho eyes the weapon. Is that a sword? Hyunwoo explains, it's actually a sealed, sacred relic. Total flex. He unsheathes a secondary iron sword for now. Kim Ho just smirks, his mind already spinning with questions. Shouldn't you carry something? Tougher, Kim Ho asks. Suddenly, a random student bursts in, apologizing for the intrusion. The guy is hovering awkwardly. You looking for someone? Kim Ho asks, sensing the nervous energy. He flashes a flyer. It's an academy errand service. Kim Ho grins. Does this service cover breaking the rules? Checking the window's reflection, Kim Ho sees the boy is pure chaos. He's sweating constantly, glancing outside like he's hunted. I'll explain later, the kid blabs, diving for the exit, like his life depends on it. He yanks the door open and freezes. Standing there is the disciplinary committee, looking like absolute final bosses. Step out. Now. The kid's face goes pale. He tries to pull a stealth mission behind the door, but it's a total fail. These are the train's enforcers, and they aren't playing. The leader holds out her hand. Give it back. You know what I mean. Zap. A sudden blast hits the kid, sending him reeling. The leader's hand is glowing with pure, crackling energy. She's a lightning mage, and she's terrifying. Kim Ho watches intently. This is the perfect chance to snag a top-tier skill. In the chaos, Kim Ho's cookie hits the floor. He takes a strategic step back, eyes locked on the magic. She slips on her combat gloves, done being nice. She levels 2 fingers at the kid. It's game over. A bird made of pure electricity screams through the air, hitting him dead center. The kid stumbles, clutching his smoking head. The air is heavy with ozone. Kim Ho reaches out. It's time to move before things get out of control. He snatches the student from behind, catching everyone off guard. Then his own hand starts crackling with the exact same lightning. Skill copied. The leader's eyes widen in shock. What? Did he have a partner hiding in here? Kim Ho steps out cool as ice. Not a partner, he says, pointing at the crushed snack. But you owe me a cookie. You made me drop it, he deadpans. While she's staring at him in confusion, a system ping confirms skill acquired. He's genuinely annoyed about the cookie. The committee member rolls her eyes as if he's the one making a scene. The leader steps up, radiating killing intent, but Hyunwoo moves in hand on his hilt. Back off. He's with me. The hallway turns into a literal powder keg. It's a standoff between the academy's elite and a bunch of newcomers. The kid fumbles for a dessert coupon to settle the debt. Kim Ho takes it, but his eyes stay on the leader. She's still ready to blow. Massive W. Kim Ho smirks to himself. This lightning skill is going to be an absolute game changer. She holds up a wig. Apparently the kid's a petty thief. Stay in your lane, she warns, but Kim Ho has already tuned her out. The enforcers walk away, but the threat lingers in the air. The kid sighs, finally breaking down who those monsters actually were. That girl, Song Cheon-hee. She's the granddaughter of the legendary Thunder Lord himself. Total royalty. And that guy, Jo Biak. He's the star pupil of the Fist King. These aren't just students. They're monsters in training. They're all elite disciples. The kid waves a frantic goodbye. Let's act like we never met. Okay, good luck. When pressed for his motives later, he simply smirked, claiming he just wanted to gauge the mage's raw potential. He questioned Hyunwoo's grasp of the spell they'd witnessed, noting its extreme velocity suggested it wasn't meant for a direct kill. Diving into its origins, he conjured a flickering avian construct of pure mana. By watching the bird's flight path, one could easily measure a caster's mastery. A true pro would have commanded that bird to weave and dodge effortlessly. But since it flew in a predictable line, her lack of control was obvious. Hyunwoo stood there, stunned by such sharp insight. Though he warned the show wasn't over, he sensed a massive, untapped reservoir of power within that simple spark. Chalking it up to destiny, a grateful Hyunwoo thanked his classmate for the lesson and vowed to return the favor. He swore to have his back. Never one to miss a beat, Kim Ho immediately roped Hyunwoo into a mysterious detour. Leading him to a secluded room, he unveiled a dusty relic. Beneath the tarp sat a weathered, old-school arcade cabinet. The thing looked like total junk. He explained this area was once a high-stakes casino, now reduced to a chaotic wreck. Shrugging off his doubts, he fed a coin into the slot to test its pulse. When the screen stayed dark, Hyunwoo sighed, convinced the machine was dead. Suddenly it flickered to life, triggering a hidden event that caught them both off guard. Eyeing the jackpot, he yanked the lever with everything he had. The reels began to blur in a frantic spin until it spat out a pathetic bottle of plain water. The two just stood there, staring at their legendary loot in awkward silence. When asked why he'd keep gambling, he explained that the real secret lay within the weird items this machine dropped. As he doubled down, he told Hyunwoo to chill about the disciplinary committee, until Han Sumi suddenly framed the doorway. She demanded to know what they were up to. Sensing danger, Kim Ho whispered for Hyunwoo to distract her and buy him time. She laid down the law, reminding them that being an accomplice meant drowning in penalty points alongside the culprit. Undeterred, Hyunwoo owned his decision. Steel hissed against Scabbard as he drew his blade with cool determination. He challenged her to a quick sparring session on the spot. Without a second thought, she lunged forward, closing the distance instantly. The clash exploded. He barely managed to intercept her opening strike with a high-speed, bare-handed parry. Their blades collided, sparks flying as they locked eyes in the narrow train corridor, each testing the other's resolve. Mana swirled around her edge as she prepped a devastating skill, planting her feet firmly. She launched a ferocious assault. She went airborne, striking from above, with a force that nearly crushed his guard. Spotting the opening, Kim Ho activated his support skill to supercharge their stats. With a massive power surge, Hyunwoo felt an electric jolt of newfound strength. Suddenly, he was matching the committee girl blow for blow with ease. As the duel raged, Kim Ho kept a sharp eye on the ticking buff timer, while frantically feeding the machine once more. He muttered about his strategy, revealing that this old rig actually had a hidden pity system for guaranteed loot. After several failed attempts, his fifth pull yielded nothing but a lukewarm can of soda. Total trash. Gripping his final coin, he braced for the ultimate gamble. On the sixth pull, the reels finally aligned into a perfect diamond streak. Jackpot out popped the legendary black ice crystal he had been hunting for this whole time. Mid-combat, the girl soared into the air for one final crushing strike. Glancing over his shoulder, he warned that the show was just starting. With the buff flickering out, Hyunwoo felt the weight of her final blow. Done with the games, he suddenly swallowed the glowing crystal whole. He choked for a second as the freeze status took hold. To everyone's shock, he stood back up like it was nothing. Once they retreated to the cabin, he revealed the crystal was a lethal poison meant to freeze a person solid, the ultimate high-risk potion for beginners. But thanks to his insane resistance, he could ignore the debuff and absorb the raw energy. Hyunwoo wondered if she fell for it. He just shrugged it off. Grateful for the assist, Hyunwoo thanked him for the gear and the adrenaline-pumping spar. When he asked for an encore, the mysterious student at the table flatly refused. Hyunwoo nodded, realizing a skill that broken definitely had a massive cooldown. Suddenly, an intercom crackled to life, announcing their arrival. Through the windows, the legendary island of the Dragon Slayer Academy finally loomed into view. Legend says this place was once a den of cutthroats and chaos, until a lone hero arrived and purged the shadows, conquering every dungeon in sight. On the ruins of that lawless land, he built a city and founded this elite academy. At the massive gates, seniors were already herding the fresh meat. As they crossed the sprawling courtyard, a girl hissed a warning to avoid the upperclassmen. Suddenly, a miniature tiger pounced onto a nearby student's shoulder. Turning heads as they move, the squad is suddenly halted by a sharp voice cutting through the air. Pivoting, they're met with the icy gaze of the committee head, who gestures for them to fall in line. They reach the disciplinary office's heavy doors. Left in isolation, he sits in the interrogation room, bracing for the questioning. Scrutinizing the data, the battle-worn veteran nods, finding no flaws in the explanation and accepting the narrative. He declares the artifact perfectly legal. Towering over him, Chief Oh Se-hoon begins lecturing him on the consequences of defiance. With 0 casualties, he grants a one-time pass on the punishment. As the meeting ends, the veteran spots his partner's lingering scowl. Picking apart the details, she insists the kid's vibe is still incredibly sketchy. She fumes, demanding a deep dive into his powers. Skeptical, the chief counters, asking what happens if they come up empty-handed. Speechless, she offers a stiff bow, apologizing for her impulsive outburst. Offering a word of wisdom, he urges her to make it to the ceremony. Stepping into the hall, he links up with his crew, grateful they saved his spot. Just then, a notification pings Tutorial 3 complete. His hard-earned rewards are finally waiting for him on the main stage. The Academy director takes the spotlight for the opening address. Glancing at him, a student whispers that the guy looks totally underwhelming. Little do they know this old man is a legendary retired hero, wielding monstrous power. Snickering about the director, a student notes that's rejection, number 5 already. Center stage, the director clears his throat and officially greets the new class. Laying out the Academy's mission, he declares they're here to forge elite dragon slayers. He adds that the founder specifically chose the word slay for a dark reason. As the monologue drags on, Kim Ho remains hyper-focused, scanning the room. Deep into the address, a few students actually start feeling the hype. Wrapping up, he hopes everyone ascends to true heroism here. Kim Ho leans over, asking if the speech was a total snooze fest, but his buddy quickly shuts that down. Suddenly, a female instructor steps up to drop some crucial intel on the student body. With a deathly serious expression, she warns that rookies are strictly confined to the dungeon's first floor. She commands them to memorize the handbook to stay out of trouble. Dismissing the crowd, she sends them packing to the dorms. Immediately, out of nowhere, one student jumps up, rallying the group for a celebratory feast. Noticing the bruises, Hyunwoo questions the beat-up look on his face. motioning toward him. He reminds them that day, one of classes kicks off tomorrow. Reaching the dorms, Hyunwoo waves off his new roomie. Back in his room, he sheds his jacket, refusing to just call it a night. Hanging his uniform up, he gears up for his next move. Sinking onto the bed, he slips into a deep meditation to maximize his downtime. Using his palms, he funnels every ounce of energy to construct his core. Every skill relies solely on an internal power engine. Exactly like this one. Despite being a total rookie at this, the complex process feels strangely intuitive to him. Crushing the crystal and absorbing its essence, he grins certain of a massive power spike. Over in Hyunwoo's quarters, he's also deep in focus. Flashbacks of the duel hit him Hansumi, the first real monster he'd ever faced. He knows that without Kim Ho's clutch save, he'd be face down in the dirt. From the moment they crossed paths, he couldn't ignore his friend's unbreakable confidence. Eyeing his blade in the corner, he wonders if it's time to ask for a hand. Shaking off the thought, he chooses independence, valuing Kim Ho as his first true ally. Shutting his eyes, a smirk plays on his lips. As he resolves to conquer this solo, sunrise brings a buzz of chatter as students wait for the first bell. Letting out a massive yawn, Seo Yeon stumbles in looking like a total zombie. With the instructor missing, rumors start flying about who's actually running the show. Noticing a shadow at the door, the class braces to greet their new mentor. But the person who steps inside leaves the entire room paralyzed with shock. Standing before them, the new instructor identifies himself as Lee Soo-dok. Singling out a girl, he demands she reveal his infamous nickname. Trembling, she mutters, the human butcher, a title that actually catches Kim Ho off guard. In this academy-driven world, some geniuses break their limiters only to turn into villains. Lee Soo-dok's whole life is dedicated to hunting those monsters down. He clarifies that he's only here on the director's special request, and he's a straight-up pro. With a murderous glint in his eye, he warns that he'd sooner bury them than see a failing grade. Cutting the small talk, he chalks up the board, breaking down the brutal grading system. When it comes to points, he reveals that attitude scores can go into the negatives, and he's watching every move. He hints at a reunion, post-graduation. Doubling down on the details, he explains that their exams will involve raiding high-stakes dungeons as well. It's a brutal PvP survival, where rank depends on crushing your peers. He points to the scoreboard, daring anyone to speak up. Everyone to the arena, the students flood the stadium, and the placement exams kick off with immediate high-stakes duels. The crowd goes wild in the bleachers, catching Hyunwoo off guard. This isn't just a fight, it's a grueling endurance test. The rules are simple: fight until you collapse, or the 5-minute clock runs out. No mercy allowed. Victory or a draw are the only ways out. Kim Ho clarifies that while draws won't hurt your score, they're basically useless. A 0-point dud. Suddenly, a system alert pings he needs a legendary performance on this exam to clear the mission. He treats the exam like a scouting mission, scanning every student's moves to gather vital intel on his competition. He's hunting for threats or OP skills to steal. Moments later, the announcer barks Kim Ho's name for center stage. He steps into the spotlight with his opponent. Facing the girl, he quickly connects the dots about her identity. She's a mage from the elite Ruby Magic Tower. Smirking, he warns her she's about to deal with his nonsense. She's clout-chasing, claiming she needs a big win to boost her rep. Then she spots his weapon, a pathetic basic staff. Just a wooden stick. She figures he's a low-tier earth mage built for defense. The countdown finally hits 0. The bell rings. She immediately charges her mana, aiming to end this in one shot with her combustion skill. She unleashes the spell and the crowd roars at the power. But when the smoke wavers, the result shocks everyone. The girl freezes in disbelief. The scoreboard flashes a cold truth. Both fighters are still at 100% health. He took the blast point blank and didn't even flinch. He's standing there perfectly fine, like the attack never happened. Panic sets in as she realizes her magic did 0 damage. They lock eyes while the scoreboard mocks her with perfect stats. Annoyed, she demands to know if he used a nullification spell. Desperate to break him, she ramps up her mana output. A massive magic circle erupts beneath his feet. "Try blocking this," she screams, prepping her most devastating move yet. Trapped in the center, he calmly warns her that he'll counter the second she slips up. His confidence is terrifying. She can't wrap her head around his chill vibe. He's just standing there waiting. Gnashing her teeth, she prepares her ultimate. She charges a high-tier spell and screams for him to defend himself. A massive pillar of fire roars toward him. The inferno swallows him whole. A violent explosion rocks the entire arena, swirling with intense, blinding heat and smoke. Fire ravages the stage. The audience gasps at her raw power, while she slumps over panting from the massive mana drain. She's totally gassed out, but as the haze lifts, he emerges without a single scratch. She's literally lost for words. "My turn," he says, revealing his trump card. He unleashes a bird-shaped strike, catching her completely off guard. She throws up a desperate guard to block the incoming strike. The attack connects with brutal precision and force. The impact rattles her bones, and she grinds her teeth through the pain. She's paralyzed her body, refusing to move. "Let's call it," he says, ending the duel right there. He looks down at her with a final word of advice. He tells her to stop wasting energy and save her hidden skills. Still stunned, she can only grumble in pure frustration. The crowd is stunned by the upset. Seeing the stares, he realizes he accidentally became the center of attention. No break for the weary. His name is called for the next round immediately. The crowd buzzes with anticipation. Students gasp as Song Cheon steps out as his next opponent. She snaps her gloves into place, ready for war. She smirks, calling it lucky that she gets to fight him now. They square up the air, thick with tension. He suddenly raises his hand and forfeits before a single punch is thrown. From the sidelines, the professor watches baffled. The professor questions his logic. He simply explains that he'll farm points elsewhere, since his condition isn't ideal right now. She's annoyed, but he sticks to his guns. Nothing will change his mind. The professor clenches his fist and marks it. Loss processed. She calls him pathetic, quoting her grandfather's philosophy about always giving 100% in battle. Only those who never quit reach the summit. That's when it clicks her grandpa is the legendary Thunder Lord. He scoffs at the advice, saying that logic doesn't apply to his situation. He casually brushes off the tension. Take the win, he tells her. Disappointed, she walks away, regretting she ever thought he was worth her time. She stops in her tracks, remembering something. He grins, knowing exactly what's on her mind at that moment. He reminds her about the dessert coupon she promised. Her smile twists into annoyance at his shameless attitude. Her name is called, and she faces a challenger from Topaz Tower. He senses her overwhelming aura and freezes. The guy is totally rattled. Before he can even blink, she unleashes a devastating bolt of pure lightning. The scoreboard flashes a crushing victory for the girl standing tall. That was a total slaughterhouse in there, the guy mutters as the loser gets wheeled out on a stretcher. Kim Ho definitely made the right call by tapping out early, but in the ring the girl is fuming with pure rage. Did you catch that death stare? The student asks, but Kim Ho just flashes a mysterious smirk. Everything's falling into place perfectly, he thinks, even as the crowd dismisses his win as nothing but a fluke. He's got the intel he needed, and now the announcer steps up to hype the next big clash. Enter Seo Yane, a lethal dual-pistol gunslinger, stepping into the spotlight to shock the entire arena. Everyone's jaw drops, including his friends, while Kim Ho keeps his cool, observing the mage's growing intrigue. This just got way more spicy, the mage whispers, realizing she's in for a serious uphill battle. Gunslingers are a nightmare to deal with, Kim Ho says, putting 5 silver coins on the line for the winner. Bet on, the deal is inked with a grin, and the scoreboard resets for the ultimate showdown. The gunslinger hits the dirt instantly, unleashing a relentless rain of lead toward her target. The mage counters with a massive surge of lightning magic, weaving an energy shield that halts the bullets cold. The crowd gasps at the block, but Kim Ho knew she was ready as she begins her next incantation. 2 massive spirit birds materialize and dive-bomb the gunslinger, who barely dances out of their lethal path. She weaves through the bolts to prep a counter, but one of those strikes still leaves a burning trail on her skin. The mage holds her ground from afar, tightening the noose to end this fight right here. One more hit and it's game over, the student predicts just as the gunslinger rips a smoke grenade open. A thick fog swallows the arena, leaving the mage blind and vulnerable to whatever comes next. Now, that's a pro move, the student cheers as the mage struggles to see through the hazy chaos. She tries to sense her surroundings in the smoke, but then a sudden flash shatters the silence. A bullet tears right through her shoulder, sending her spinning in total shock at the invisible strike. As the enemy closes in, the mage spots the shimmer of high-tier invisibility tech. This is getting dangerous. She must be loaded with that gear, someone shouts while the shooter swaps her pistols for a heavy rifle. Another shot grazes the mage's skin and both health bars on the screen start bleeding out rapidly. With their points plummeting, the mage realizes that just playing defense is a one-way ticket to a loss. The shooter slides across the ring, with 0 openings, landing another hit that keeps the mage on her heels. She focuses on the bullet trails to survive, watching as a heavy round slams into her energy shield. The wall stands firm, and catching a split-second opening, the mage prepares her devastating retaliation. A serpent of lightning surges across the floor, but the shooter uses her weapon's recoil to launch herself skyward. Found you, the mage smirks, finally locking onto her target with eyes full of confidence. You can't run from this one, she warns, as a massive blast sends the shooter screaming into the ground. The clock hits 0 as the shooter collapses, and Kim Ho celebrates by playfully messing with his stunned friend's hair. Despite the brutal fight, the mage is crowned the victor, while the shooter earns respect for her incredible grit. She went down swinging without a single complaint, and now it's time for the 5 silver coins to change hands. Double or nothing, the guy begs, trying to lure Kim Ho into another high-stakes gamble on the next match. He points to Hyun Woo and swaps his pick, seeing Jo Biak, the Fist King's own disciple, entering the ring. The disciple is taking this, Kim Ho says flatly, actually betting against his own comrade. You're cold-blooded for betting against us, his friend gasps, but Kim Ho just tells him to watch the show. Hyun Woo can feel Kim Ho's eyes on him, fueling his fire to prove he's the real deal. He draws his blade, but the disciple scoffs, telling him to quit playing and use his real weapon. Sorry, but you're not worth the big guns just yet, he retorts, keeping his ace hidden for now. I won't hold back either, he warns, and Yunwoo grins, saying that's exactly what he wants. The bell rings, and the tension snaps, as the disciple lunges forward with fists like hammers. He dances around the assault with flawless precision, but a sudden, massive blow slams directly into his blade. His defense shatters, blasted backward. Hyunwoo reels from the monster-like strength of his foe. Realizing standard moves won't cut it, he shifts gears, slamming his heel down to anchor his resolve. He blurs forward, his blade glowing with lethal intent as he activates a high-tier sword skill. Aiming for a one-hit finish, he lunges. His opponent tenses up, bracing for the inevitable impact. The iron sword snaps like a toothpick, ending the clash. Staring at the shattered hilt, he admits it's over. Standing tall, the victor Jubek promises a rematch. Watching from the sidelines, the atmosphere turns heavy. Kim Ho knew that sword would fail. Recalling their brutal training, this outcome was practically written in the stars. Folding his arms, he realizes the truth. To Hyunwoo, these blades are nothing more than disposable tools. Stunned by the accuracy, his buddy demands to know the secret. Kim Ho just grabs his collar, deadpan. This guy is doing way too much yapping about the money. Broke, the student flashes a nervous smile. He proposes a different kind of trade, piquing interest. Gesturing toward the notebook, the vibe completely changes. Cold, hard facts will settle the debt. With the duels finished, the instructor declares the exams are back on. Relaxing in the garden, the crew grabs lunch, chatting away as the countdown to the next test begins. Talking with a mouthful of food, he gets shut down by Kim Ho. Swallowing hard, he finally speaks up. He asks what intel is needed next. Beyond the government, 4 massive pillars rule this supernatural world. From the Magic Council to the Night Orders, the elite are everywhere. Take Mo Young-jun, for example. He is the Sword Saint's own blood. Then there is Hong Yanhua, the genius destined to lead the tower. Representing the guilds is Park Nari and her beast. Finally, there is the powerhouse Lee Song-hyun. As the Swordmaster's heir, he is top tier. Checking his notes, he narrows down the real threats. These are the undisputed monsters of the class. But wait, where the hell did Hyunwoo disappear to? Checking his notifications, he realizes he is late for a meeting. He takes off like a shot. Shouting an apology, he vanishes, leaving Kim Ho stranded alone with the quiet girl. Talk about awkward. He is totally lost on what to say. Still, she is the very first real ally he has made here. She just munches on a cookie, maintaining total radio silence. Trying to break the ice, he mentions a coupon. Thanks to that train disaster, he has got loot. He pulls out a gourmet cake and slides it her way. He invites her to dig in. As he eats, he studies her, but she stays as silent as a grave. Out of nowhere, she asks why she lost. He keeps it real. The mage simply had more mana reserves. He hints that the outcome was not set in stone. If she had played it differently, things would change. Strengthening her bullets would have secured the win. But when he mentions practice, she looks genuinely confused. She claims she never trains. Shocked, he wonders how she manifests mana bullets with 0 effort. He grills her on her past training. Realizing she is a raw, untrained genius sends a shock through him. Pushing a top mage to the limit without any practice is insane. Her potential is absolutely off the charts. He offers to coach her later. Just then, the bell tolls, signaling the start of the next exam phase. Before the shimmering portals, the professor breaks down the rules for conquering the deadly mist forest. 2 unique rules apply here. Rule number 1, rack up the highest score before the clock hits 0. Rule 2 is a nightmare. All gear and skills are nerfed to F rank. It is a level playing field. Even their mana cores are being suppressed. The news hits the students hard, leaving many reeling on the floor. They look pathetic, groveling in pain. Disgusted, the professor dismisses them as nothing but weaklings. The data does not lie, only a handful actually survived the initial shock. Now for the next duo. Kim Ho and Seo Ye-in are up next. He leans in, suggesting she swap her pistol for a rifle. The mage scoffs, wondering why a non-shooter is suddenly acting like a combat expert. Peace out, I guess. Stepping through the portal, his stats recalibrate instantly. He finally enters the heart of the testing zone. A stray slime appears perfect for a warm-up. He pulls up his status window to check his power. He needs to see exactly what he is working with. Suddenly the timer starts and a mud goblin spawns. The beast is not wasting time. It lunges, snapping its jaws onto his staff, trying to crush his weapon. Sidestepping a lethal blade, he clocks the chaotic spawns. Yet a hidden rhythm emerges. These beasts follow a logic. Pivoting, he locks onto a fresh horror, manifesting in the shadows. He hurls a blade, sniping an orc mid-manifestation. The steel bites deep, finding its mark. It pierces the creature's skull, ending it instantly. Discarding his staff, he eyes the fallen orc's brutal axe. Why bring gear when you can loot the dead? He grins, ready for the next wave. Now the real grind begins. He carves through the mob, a relentless whirlwind of calculated violence. Unstoppable. With 7 minutes on the clock, his score is already hitting legendary heights. As 2 trolls emerge, he freezes. No witnesses. He nukes the replay data immediately. High scores bring unwanted heat. Despite the massive tally, he sighs he's definitely feeling a bit rusty. Mission accomplished. He's done enough. Checking his stats, he decides to call it a day. He strolls toward the exit rift. Stepping out, he bumps into the girl who just wrapped her trial. She's totally drained yet somehow outscored him. When he checks in, she just lets out a weary sigh. That trial was brutal. Nearby, the professor sneers, noting he didn't even survive 10 minutes inside. Dragon Slayer, more like a quitter. But then the professor glares at the actual scoreboard. The early exit makes no sense. Something smells fishy, and he's determined to dig up the truth. Next up, he barks for Hyun Woo to step into the rift. Meanwhile, his eyes scan the rankings. The elites are dominating the board. Can a nobody like Hyun Woo even stand a ghost of a chance? The odds are stacked. Maintaining a poker face, he silently waits for the carnage to unfold. Boom, Hyun Woo rockets to rank 1 with over 1,000 points. The crowd goes silent. Murmurs erupt through the hall. As he steps out, Kim Ho greets him with a massive grin. Nice work, man. Hyun Woo shrugs, crediting his win to that power nap he took earlier. Haters start chirping, calling him a quitter. The toxicity is real, and it's starting to grind his gears. He goes to clap back, but Kim Ho stops him. Just ignore the NPCs, his friend winks. Fine. He stands down, avoiding the drama. His eyes drift back to the glowing leaderboard. Is it over? Not quite. One last player is still grinding away inside the swirling portal. Deep inside, the mage is nuking goblins for clout. Suddenly, she feels a chill down her spine. Her mana is bottoming out. The monsters stall, and an old piece of advice flashes in her mind. She grips her staff, funneling every drop of mana into a single devastating enchanted strike. One massive burst obliterates the goblin. Exhausted, she steps back through the rift to join the others. She tops the charts but still pouts about her score. Mid-complaint, the professor takes the stage. Final rankings drop tomorrow. He waves them off, then spots a mysterious item on the ground. Moving swiftly, he storms into the director's office. He marches straight to the main desk. Show me the footage. He demands the student's replay, brooking no arguments or delays. Empty, the tech shrugs. No file, no playback. Fine, then pull up the entry logs instead. He scrubbed the evidence. The professor realizes the kid intentionally nuked his own replay. This boy is a ghost hiding insane power. And in this academy, shadows have teeth. If a spy is among them, time is running out. He keeps his suspicions locked down tight. No leaks. He'll watch from the dark, afraid that pushing too hard will scare the boy off. He glares at the monitor. This student is now his primary target. His gaze is ice cold. Kim Ho shivers, feeling an invisible pair of eyes. Later, the squad hits the cafeteria to decompress. Half asleep, she heads out. But the boys are just getting started, diving into the academy catalog. Coffee in hand, he prepares a deep dive. But the boy just groans. The instructions are total gibberish. He flashes his ID. Welcome to the New World Order, where points are the only currency. From epic loot to top-tier gyms, these points are your ticket to the high life. About that replay, his friend reminds him of the deal they struck before the system demo. He demonstrates how to purchase pure battle logs, leaving his buddy completely floored by the footage. It is Hanseme's duel. Flashing his screen, he reveals that his friend's footage is a certified bestseller. Popularity spells trouble. Rivals are dissecting his style. He cautions that his fragile core is now public knowledge. Grinning, he argues the payout outweighs the danger. Plus, elite training facilities are now within reach. These chambers turbocharge internal mana. Stunned, his pal leaps up, oblivious that such power-up spots even existed. Sinking back, he realizes entry requires a mountain of points. Folding his arms, Kim Ho drops the truth. Every last credit must be sacrificed. But then he gestures. There's a secret shortcut to the top. Snagging the pass means dethroning Mo Yangjun. Sensing his friend's hesitation, he proposes a lethal bargain. He'll secure the entry permit if his buddy helps him clear a high-stakes dungeon raid. Tightening his grip, he warns that this abyss swallows the weak. It is a literal do-or-die mission. Eyeing Kim Ho, he refuses to back down from ultimate power. Thumping his chest, he is all in. Radiating absolute confidence, Kim Ho vows to seize that pass within a mere 14 days. Reaching the lab, he requests entry and spots a lone student buried in mechanical gears. The boy demands his business. Stepping forward, Kim Ho confesses his curiosity about the Magitech circle. Fuming at the intrusion, the artisan snaps that he is in the wrong place. He adjusts his frames. He orders a quick exit. Grinning, Kim Ho throws a wink and promises just a brief scouting mission. Observing the craft, he identifies a solid B-rank talent. Slowly, he reaches out his palm. He activates his mimicry, plucking the Magitech skill. With the data secured, he hunts his true prize. Smirking, he flaunts a dusty blueprint, claiming he has stumbled upon something truly legendary in the chaos. He questions the item's potential, but the boy scoffs. It is a junk relic no mortal can forge. Producing a rare catalyst, he proposes a swap for the cube's schematics. The boy's eyes widen. The crafter admits it is a Magitech treasure. Surrendering the tube, he warns this is a one-time deal. The boy chuckles, thinking he has scammed the guy with pricey garbage. Suddenly, a system quest flickers to life. As the item's true power awakens, he sighs at the massive grind required to finalize the masterpiece. The grand prize, an S-rank cube of life. Without hesitation, he resolves to forge the impossible. Bypassing the system's requirements, he hits the gym to begin constructing his divine artifact immediately. Channeling his power, he overclocks his Magitech skill to S-rank, clutching the ancient blueprint tight. Construction begins. Analyzing the complex structure, he estimates a grueling 72-hour marathon to completion. Every second counts, and basic effort won't cut it. He enters deep meditation to purify his essence. Power surges. Snapping his eyes open, he prepares an hour-long blitz of total skill amplification. The rhythmic forging continues. This magic cube must be perfected before the Friday deadline hits. Dawn breaks, signaling time for class. In the hallway, he offers a casual greeting to his classmate. She is shocked by his early arrival. Scanning the room, he searches for any sign of Hyun-woo. Showing her gratitude, she gifts him a snack. He realizes the treat is shaped like a tiny dinosaur. He finds the gesture amusing. Just then, Hyun-woo bursts in, greeting the duo with high energy. Kim-ho checks on his progress. Beaming, the boy claims he has never gathered such massive mana reserves before. The speed was insane. Nodding, Kim-ho swears that the entry permit will be theirs very soon. Suddenly, their instructor storms in, demanding silence, as everyone scrambles to their assigned seats. He declares the start of PvP trials. The clock has been pushed. Combatants now have 10 minutes of mayhem. Furthermore, all first years are mandated to survive at least 3 high-intensity duels. As the lecture ends, Kim-ho vows total victory. Right on cue, a fresh battle quest triggers. The system demands participation. With fire in his eyes, he pledges to crush the competition. He heads for the arena, but a desperate tug on his sleeve brings him to a halt. Looking unusually grave, she mentions her schedule is open today. He completely misses the hidden signal. A wave of confusion washes over the class as she awkwardly tries to explain her weird behavior. He calls the girl for their scheduled training. Bidding farewell, he promises a later meeting, leaving his buddy totally shook. That afternoon, students swarm the combat arena. After arriving, they scout the battlefield, soaking in the tense atmosphere. From the sidelines, they observe the competition. A random student suddenly asks if they've spotted Kim-ho nearby. His friend bristles at the jerk's comment. Restraining him, Kim-ho grips his arm to prevent another chaotic brawl. Stepping closer, the guy flashes a mocking smirk, demanding to know Kim's dungeon exam score. He's fuming to realize he tied with a coward. Suddenly, a girl screams that he's not even in Kim's league. Grinning, Kim-ho asks if he's the lightning bolt victim, wearing a devious expression. The guy misses the jab and readies for war. Growling, he notes their identical scores, an absolute insult. What luck. Aiming his spear, he barks a challenge for Kim-ho to enter the arena. Inside the ring, they face off, both health bars still untouched on the massive scoreboard. Prep mode on the guy vows an instant knockout. Kim-ho just chuckles, agreeing this will be over fast. The bell rings. The guy lunges, diving into a heavy overhead strike. Kim-ho just watches, wearing a calm smile. Unfazed by the attack, a sudden bird strike paralyzes the guy, leaving him stunned and complaining. Mockingly apologizing, Kim-ho warns his strike will outpace any mages. As the guy begs for time, the inevitable blow lands. A scream erupts as the guy is blasted across the arena floor. Looking down at his fallen foe, Kim-ho asks if the coward won. Groaning, the guy claims he just slipped up. He demands a rematch. Smirking, Kim-ho accepts, letting the scoreboard reset for another round of humiliation. The duel resumes. The guy rushes in again, desperately trying to gain some ground. He's baffled by another defeat. Raging, he swears that the next time will definitely be his victory. Done with the drama, Kim-ho decides to wrap it up. Checking his system quest, he notes, 2 out of 3 battles are finished. He offers the guy a few pointers if he's truly desperate to learn. Flashing a grin, he demands a fee. Spotting the rare pill, he realizes it's top-tier loot. Handing it over, the guy begs to keep this crushing defeat a secret. Stashing the box, Kim-ho promises to spar until he's satisfied. Getting up, he asks if the guy's had enough. Trembling, the guy kneels, begging forgiveness for his earlier arrogance. Admitting his mistake, he confesses Kim-ho is no coward. Turning away, Kim-ho suggests keeping up the coward facade. The guy agrees he won't be the only one fooled. Rejoining the crew, he checks Hyun-woo's progress. Hyped, he heads for his final fight. At the training room, he apologizes and invites her to sit down. Seated together, they begin the crash course. He watches closely as she attempts to manifest a mana ball. He's stunned she survived the battle with such low-level power. Then, he promises to teach her mana-infused bullet distribution in their next session. The girl uses the terrain to line up her shot. Her opponent goes dark, prepping a sneaky ambush. But her mana-sensing eyes track him instantly. Arrogantly, the guy claims his barrier is impenetrable. Boom, a shot grazes him, shattering his confidence and his shield. He watches in horror as it breaks. He's paralyzed with shock that the bullet pierced his defense. Smiling, she aims for the final blow. A scream echoes as she secures the win. Reviewing the footage, the professor analyzes the electric bird's insane movement during that second skirmish. He realizes the mage was just playing around. Grabbing another orb, he senses a much deeper mystery unfolding. Comparing fights, he notes her bullets were once simple mana balls, but today, they were perfectly shaped and lethal. It clicks. Kim Ho is the catalyst behind her sudden evolution. Staring at the boy's file, the professor questions who he really is. Meanwhile, Kim Ho finishes the magic cube. With a triumphant grin, he celebrates the completed construction. The cube glows, revealing massive health boosts thanks to his quest rewards. His core is now reinforced and ready. With everything set, he decides it's time to start the hype. Stalking the corridors, he intercepts the rising star Druid Park Nari. He corners her, revealing she's the final piece of his master plan. One look at the tiger confirms his theory: beasts sense life force better than anyone. Without warning, the predator lunges straight for the cube, exactly as calculated. Panic-stricken, the girl shrieks at the tiger to back off while he readies his next move. Her reaction says it all. The druid definitely felt that surge. He commands her to reel her beast in immediately. Feigning ignorance, he pushes forward with the scheme. Wrestling with the tiger, she wonders aloud if they share the same class. She takes her leave, and he smirks. The season pass is practically in the bag. Back in class, the teacher's tone turns ominous. Clashes are imminent across multiple fronts. Glancing at the clock, he counts the seconds until the bell finally grants him freedom. With 30 seconds on the clock, the teacher calls it a day. As time expires, a student stretches, ready to bolt. Then he spots a glitch in reality. A crimson orb hovers, baffling the entire room before it suddenly swells with light. Pure chaos erupts as students howl in terror. Dazed, the girl looks around, wondering why she's the only one left untouched. A glowing number burns into one guy's forehead, sending him into a panic. Gasps fill the air as others start pointing in horror. The realization hits: they've all been branded. Out of nowhere, the Academy's ruthless possession inspection is triggered. A magnetic banishment wave sweeps the hall, the system instantly flagging every single contraband item hidden among the students. A faint smirk plays on Kim Ho's lips as the purge begins. While the girl dozes off, a strange sound echoes from Joe Bayok. Noticing some were spared, the guy starts spiraling, cursing the cursed number glowing on his own head. He frantically looks to Kim Ho for answers, completely lost. Desperation takes over as he stares at his screen, paralyzed by his illegal loot. Kim Ho watches his friends break down with a cold, mocking gaze. Sobbing, the guy clings to him like a lifeline, pleading for a miracle. Kim Ho eventually nods, reminding him that this level of salvation won't come cheap. Flashing the mysterious cube, he barks an order to dump every forbidden item inside immediately. No time for questions, he points at the device and yells at him to move. The guy panics and starts shoving everything in. Suddenly, the disciplinary committee kicks the door down, ordering the entire class to freeze. A mage's finger snaps toward the pair, her voice icy as she demands to know what's being hidden. Kim Ho stands calmly, claiming they were just taking 5. The friend quickly chimes in, suggesting everyone just surrender their gear. She whips out a detection orb, warning that no cheap tricks can bypass her sensors. She hovers the sphere right in front of him, scanning for any trace of contraband. When the orb remains silent, he casually asks for permission to sit back down. Reclaiming his seat, he smirks. This is exactly why finishing the Cube of Life early was vital. The Cube of Life is a legendary artifact that effortlessly bypasses the banishment wave. Later on the street, his friend overflows with gratitude. Admitting he was almost wiped out, the guy thumps his chest, swearing to settle the debt very soon. Accepting the promise, he leads the way to their headquarters, the infamous Thieves Club, to finalize their business. They were the school's most notorious rebels. At the entrance, the guy shouts for the boss, announcing their presence. Boom, the door explodes open, sending the guy flying with a brutal strike. Next thing he knows, the leader's boot is on his chest. She barks an order for him to stay sharp. Taking in the madness, Kim Ho smoothly introduces himself as the guy's new partner. Keeping her heel firmly planted, the leader identifies herself as Dang Yu Young. She applies more pressure, demanding to see the artifact that defied the wave. Spotting the cube, her eyes widen. The legend is actually real. Fingers trembling over the cube, she admits she's tempted to swipe it. He just grins, warning her that it'd be a one-way ticket to getting caught. She knows the school's tech too well. This is high-level magitech. Sinking into her chair, she questions his price. Stroking her chin, she bluntly admits their club is broke and short on offerings. He beams, assuring her the task is right up her alley. All he wants is a VIP tour of the temporary storage unit. Stunned, she leans back with her hands behind her head, eyeing him suspiciously. Typically, the Academy's item check-ins only happen on weekends. She narrows her eyes, wondering if he's a secret agent for the disciplinary committee. He scoffs, clarifying he's far from being their friend, but he's definitely hunting for something specific. She emphasizes that no one breaks into storage for free. It's a fortress that's damn near impossible to crack. Tapping the cube, he promises to solve her little extraction issue. As she mulls it over, she realizes the cube is the perfect vessel to smuggle the loot out. Smirking confidently, he asks if they have a deal. Under the veil of night, a crew assembles outside the massive estate. Masked-up Dang Yu-young confirms everyone is ready for the heist. A teammate nods, but eyes the stranger with suspicion. "Who's the rookie?" she asks, finally introducing Kim Ho. She explains his vital role in the heist. While some doubt him, others grin, welcoming him to their crew of thieves. 60 seconds remain on the clock. She barks out final orders before turning to Kim Ho with a serious gaze. She drills him on his priorities. Then, with a sharp signal to move, the infiltration officially begins. It's go time. The crew bolts toward the massive structure. Kim Ho activates a stealth skill, gliding through the shadows like a ghost. Trailing the leader, he taps her shoulder to siphon her ability. Up ahead, a lone guard stalks the entrance, totally oblivious. Whistling and careless, the guard freezes. Glowing otherworldly butterflies begin to dance in the air around him. Creepy, right? Without warning, the magical swarm swallows him whole, paralyzing his body and silencing his screams instantly. Hogtied and gagged, the guard is dumped aside like trash. The crew has already reached the 3rd floor. They creep into the hallway, but a guard rounds the corner. "Who goes there?" he demands, eyes narrowing in suspicion. He levels his staff, screaming that an intruder has breached the academy's sacred halls. He's restrained before he can blink. Kim Ho leans in close, whispering, "Don't struggle, and this won't hurt much." "The vault is just around this bend," the leader whispers, pushing forward with focused intensity. Halting, she scans for traps. The security feed pops up on her device, and she lets out a frustrated curse. A powerhouse guard is camping the entrance. Kim Ho steps up coolly, offering to handle the heavy lifting himself. "Do you know how to use shadow butterfly magic?" he asks. Taken aback, she confirms she knows the forbidden art. Her skill is amateur at best. Kim Ho places a hand on her, supercharging her mana with a mysterious technique. "How did you do that?" she stammers, but he cuts her off. Time is fading. Dang Yu-young watches him intensely. This guy is sus, but she has no choice. Focusing her mind, she unleashes the newly empowered butterfly technique. The guard roars as the swarm closes in. He swings his massive axe wildly, trying to shred the ethereal insects. His blade misses every time. Powerless against the magical onslaught, the Guardian is consumed by the dark energy. They watch from the shadows as a silent blast takes him down. Looking at the paralyzed giant, she is stunned. "That was easily A-rank level power," she mutters. Shaking it off, she reminds Kim Ho, they've still got a job to finish. The vault door swings open. "Loot everything," he commands. While the others scramble, Kim Ho's eyes lock onto a specific treasure. He is getting paid today. He hunts for the forbidden relics, items banned because their side effects are literally lethal. He snatches a cursed artifact, relying on his unique resistance to survive the search. Loot secured, he scans for more. Skill books are the real prize. Scouring the dusty shelves, he spots a manual that practically radiates ancient power. He absorbs the knowledge instantly. A wise move before their exit is violently interrupted. A cold voice echoes from the doorway. Song Cheong-ji stands there, her icy gaze piercing through Dong Yu-young. "Stealing on day one. Classic," she sneers. Yu-young fires back. "What's the high and mighty president doing in a place like this?" The president ignores the sass. "Surrender now or things get ugly." She readies her magic, knowing every second counts. Run Yu-young screams to the crew, unleashing a chaotic distraction to mask their frantic retreat. A dense shadow barrier erupts, cloaking the thieves. By the time the darkness clears, the room is empty. Guak Seongjai bellows that the intruders have breached the perimeter. Don't let a single one of them escape. Kim Ho is a blur of speed, tearing down the corridor toward freedom. But then, his instincts scream. He senses danger and ducks. A massive stone fist pulverizes the wall, right where his head was seconds ago. Guak Seongjai emerges, impressed by the dodge. "I don't know your face. You a new rookie on the block." "Silent type, smart move," the giant chuckles. But Kim Ho isn't looking for a chat. He's looking for an exit. Kim Ho weaves through a barrage of earth. Snapping his fingers, he retaliates with a soaring bird of pure lightning. Songjai conjures a rock shield, scoffing at the spark. "That puny zap won't even scratch my defense." Boom, the lightning shatters the stone, shocking Songjai to his core. Okay, that actually had some bite to it. Kim Ho zips past him, hearing a grunt of respect. But just as he thinks he's clear, he skids to a halt. The air turns heavy. Massive stone pillars erupt around him, trapping him. "No more games, kid. This ends now." The giant focuses his mana, roaring as the pillars ignite with speed, flying toward Kim Ho like guided missiles. He scoffs at the childish attack, but his smirk vanishes. Suddenly, an overwhelming heatwave washes over the hall. Staring in pure disbelief, his jaw drops as Kim Ho ignites a mysterious, never-before-seen flame technique. Guak Seongjae ducks low, gasping that this is a legendary forbidden art. Fire dancing across his knuckles, Kim Ho gears up for a counter. Channeling the infernal fist, he detonates a wave of searing heat right at his foe. Glancing at his glowing palm, he mumbles, that taming this wild energy is a total nightmare. Over his unconscious rival, he coldly notes the disciplinary committee is coming. He brushes back his hair, sighing that things just got messy. Suddenly, a suspicious sound echoes from the shadows nearby. Time to bounce before the snitches arrive. But right then, two students burst onto the scene screaming for a medic to save the fallen senior. Meanwhile, in the committee room, Dang Yujung demands their instant release. Declaring she's done with this drama, Song Chae-young pivots to the door. That's when Oh Se-hoon slides a mysterious document her way. He smirks, claiming her cooperation is mandatory. Scanning the paper, her eyes widen. It accuses Kim Ho of stealing high-tier loot. He insists she's the mastermind behind the missing treasures. She denies everything, but he warns that the whole squad will pay. Cornered, she begrudgingly accepts the blame to protect her team. Shaking off the threat, she stands and storms out. Rejoining her crew, they swarm her with questions about the penalty. She quickly scans the group, doing a head count, only to realize someone is gone. Suddenly, a random student sneers, calling her a shameless liar for playing dumb. Fed up, she snaps, revealing a club member unleashed a literal forbidden skill. A shocked Dang Yujung freezes. She admits the newbie must be a monster to wield that kind of power. Cut to a sharp knock, echoing at the door. A voice checks if Kim Ho is still breathing. Entering, she scans his face, demanding the truth about that skill. He just shrugs, claiming he never moves without a backup plan. She pivots, asking if the goods are secure. Then the jewels appear. Her eyes light up at the sparkling loot. These are top-tier treasures. Their secret deal is officially a massive success. As he heads for the exit, she cuts him off with a shock proposal. Join her club. She points a finger directly at him. Promise him the world if he signs up. She then mocks his arrogant, greedy, thief-like energy, coldly and without hesitation. He shuts her down. Deng Yujung's face twitches with annoyance. She wonders if he's just holding out to sell the loot. Is that the play? He calmly explains he just needs elite training passes, but the price tag leaves her jaw on the floor. He hints the item's true power is on another level. Seeing her confusion, he offers her a peek at the item's stats. The catch, a simple favor. He just needs a message delivered, and she agrees before he can even finish. One look at the item's description, and her brain nearly melts from its insane stats. After a quick analysis, she admits the steep price is actually a steal. Before he vanishes, she doubles down on the club invite. The door is always open. With a playful smirk, she tells him to sleep on it. He actually nods, and promises to consider it with a mysterious grin. Days pass, and he checks in on an exhausted-looking Seo Ye-in. Did you even sleep? Someone asks, noticing her dark circles. But Kim Ho's instincts suddenly flare up. Two creeps from the nature club are stalking him. Annoyed by the flies, he tells Seo Ye-in to keep moving without him. He fakes a quick errand, promising to catch up once he's dealt with these pests once and for all. She nods, throwing a worried glance at the two figures closing in. Kim Ho pivots, blocking their path. Why the tail, he demands. Mo Youngjun scoffs, saying he saved them the hassle of a chase. Han Sumi plays the nice cop, asking him to follow them. Kim Ho shuts it down, he's not in their squad. Seeing he won't budge, Mo Youngjun squares up. Kim Ho doesn't wait, unleashing a lightning bird that strikes with blinding speed, tagging both at once. Mo Youngjun hits the dirt, completely paralyzed. Sumi's eyes go wide. She knows that skill. Kim Ho dares them to keep going, unless they want a second round because he's on a tight schedule. Terrified, she throws her hands up and begs for mercy. She promises to drag her partner away, frantically clearing the path as she hauls his limp body. Mo Youngjun groans about his bad luck, but she shuts him up with a swift chop, knocking him out cold. Suddenly, a projectile screams through the air, sniping Han Sumi from afar. As she collapses, she can't believe she was blindsided too. Now both stalkers are face down and out for the count. Cut to the classroom where the atmosphere is tense. Seo Ye-in whispers, asking what took him so long. Kim Ho realizes the next dungeon mission is a brutal race against the clock. The professor barks the orders shatter the totem in under 5 minutes. Class wraps up and a student calls Go Hyun-woo, inviting him to squad up for the dungeon. Kim Ho gives the green light, and Go Hyun-woo joins the new team. Watching the new duo, Kim Ho just smirks while the classmate cheers over his lucky find. Suddenly, Seo Ye-in demands that he bring her along for the dungeon raid. Snared in mystical vines, Mo Young-jun howls in disgrace. A fuming Mok Jong-hwa barks that these siblings have utterly trashed his name. He seethes, wondering how they were crushed by the Academy's most infamous loser. He viciously floors the boy with one move, mocking his sheer pathetic weakness. Observing the chaos, Ha-soo-yeon suggests a face-to-face. He grunts in agreement, muttering under his breath. Their prestige is in the gutter. He swears Kim Ho will suffer a brutal reckoning for this insult. Collapsed and broken on the floor, Mo Young-jun pleads for one final shot at redemption. Scrambling up, he blames simple carelessness for the loss. Mok Jong-hwa coldly warns that another failure means total exile. He will be purged from the tower forever. Punching the air, Mo Young-jun bellows his absolute certainty of victory. To seal the deal, the master summons his golem with one order: annihilate the target without fail. Back in the dungeon, Kim Ho treats the entire raid like a casual afternoon warm-up. He spots the timer 60 seconds to clear. Facing the mob, he knows the duo is the real threat. Amidst the chaos, he hides the boss's patterns, betting on her potential to evolve mid-fight. He observes her solo progress before an elite goblin suddenly halts their advance. Freezing in place, they scan the beast's movements before making their move. He offers a stealthy bypass, but she smells bonus points. She is going for the kill. He locks in as backup while she lunges. The beast barely tanks her initial aggressive assault. It parries with its rusted blade, then charges Seo Yane with savage, lethal desperation. With icy focus, she nails a clean headshot. But the creature just keeps coming, ignoring the wound. The goblin's eyes burn with rage as it heaves its massive club for a crushing overhead blow. The monster swings with lethal intent, but Seo Yane doesn't blink. She aims her weapon true. Activating his ability, Kim Ho corners the beast, supercharging his offensive power. A lightning bird erupts from his hand. Sensing an opening, he blasts the Titan's back at point-blank range. Victory. The leaderboard flashes their score. He notes they have smashed their previous clear time. There is still room for perfection. Seo Yane approaches hungry for more mana projectile training. He grins at her drive and agrees. Let's wrap up this drill, he suggests. They head to the academy range. Today's masterclass, the art of the projectile launch. He critiques her robotic handling. To show the difference, he weaves a bullet from pure mana. Treat your hand like the gun he instructs, locking onto the target with razor-sharp focus. Then let it rip. He challenges her to try the technique bare-handed first. Mimicking him, she pulls energy at her fingertips. Suddenly, the blast recoils backward. He is baffled by the physics fail. Correcting her stance, he tells her to stick to raw mana. Keep grinding, he says, heading off to snag some snacks for the break. Seo Yane halts him. She slides him, a legendary black card, insisting he treat himself at the cafe.